Hello, Al pals. This is Big Al. Welcome to Big Al Presents, my review of Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The 2022 film is new in theaters today as I record this. I have had a chance to watch it and wanted to share my thoughts. But before I do so, spoiler warning, and I mean it this time. If you don't want to know anything about this film, stop here, go see the movie, come back, and see if you agree with my thoughts on the film. Now, with that being said, my official review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange must protect America Chavez, a young woman with the power to navigate through the multiverse, from Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch, an unlikely enemy who wishes to use Chavez's power to reunite with her sons no matter the cost. Director Sam Raimi seems an obvious choice to guide fans into the strangeness of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's multiverse. The film is a visual masterpiece, as is expected from the MCU, grand in scale and complexity. Benedict Cumberbatch returns as Dr. Stephen Strange, the master of the mystic arts, and does his usual excellent job bringing life to MCU's snarky sorcerer. Elizabeth Olsen is great as Wanda Maximoff, but spectacularly terrifying as the grief-driven Scarlet Witch. Xochitl Gomez is fine in her debut as America Chavez, and, though playing a vital role, does not overshadow any of the other primary characters, though some may balk at her sudden ability to control her power at the most opportune time. Benedict Wong returns as affable Sorcerer Supreme Wong, as does Rachel McAdams as Doctor Strange's former love, Christine Palmer. The highlight of the film for many will be the extended cameo appearances of the Marvel characters from another alternate Earth designated Earth 838. Patrick Stewart returns to the role of Charles Xavier, aka Professor X, the leader of the Illuminati on Earth 838. The Illuminati are their Earth's mightiest heroes and include Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter, or as she is known in this Earth, the shield-wielding Captain Carter from the animated series What If. Lashana Lynch portrays the alternate Captain Marvel, Maria Rambeau, Anson Mount as Black Bolt, Chiwetel Ejiofor as Mordo, the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth 838, and John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. All the actors do their usual fine job. As stated earlier, the film is a stunning visual experience with the usual great effects we have come to expect from the MCU. Where the film differs from previous films in the franchise is the inclusion of horror imagery and even a fair amount of gore, such as a giant eyeball being ripped out of a Lovecraftian monstrosity, the burned, charred bodies of Wanda's victims, and Doctor Strange using a deceased, decayed, alternate version of himself to do battle with Scarlet Witch. Ultimately, the film is an entertaining addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe thanks to its dynamic visuals, action choreography, and the performances of its actors. However, the film does stumble due to the basically lackluster story and the underdeveloped motivation of the film's primary villain. The effect of using the Darkhold on Wanda Maximoff and its twisting her grief needed a bit more emphasis if the viewers are to understand her willingness to rip the multiverse apart to be with her children. Wanda is at heart a good person, and while the pieces are there, the Darkhold's power needed a bit more explaining. Ultimately, the creativity of the film is on display visually, but not as much in the storytelling. Aside from being a feast for the eyes and the special cameos from unexpected characters, there's just not as much substance in this film as with earlier entries. This is the 28th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, after all. But being a major Marvel film, it succeeds at being an enjoyable diversion if you have money to spare and have a hankering for a bucket of movie popcorn. Ardent fans of the MCU will find a lot to love about the film. 3 stars out of 5. That is my official rating and review for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, here at the end, I like to do a little bit more rambling, as it were. Overall, I enjoyed the film. I'm glad I watched it. I had a good time watching it. But there was this feeling at the end like I wasn't seeing anything that new when it came to the story. It was very straightforward. Bad guy wants young woman and heroes have to protect her. And that's pretty much what it was. There wasn't any kind of dynamic storytelling, no twists, no uh, surprises. It was straightforward. Not that there's anything wrong with that. A lot of people like a nice, straightforward uh, plot, but I came across as feeling a bit empty after I watched it. Yeah, visually gorgeous film. The effects are spectacular. Of course, we've come to expect that from Marvel Studios. They always deliver a good looking film. It is really the story that differentiates whether the film is going to be an absolute epic hit or if it's just going to be, like I said, an enjoyable diversion. And this film's ultimately, to me, an enjoyable diversion. Uh, it has a lot of interesting possibilities that it has created. I loved seeing John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. I hope they keep him in the fold and we see Mr. Fantastic and the rest of the Fantastic Four in the future. I hope they get Emily Blunt to play Sue Storm, uh, his wife. I think that'd be great casting on their part. I just hope they don't wait too long because nobody's getting any younger. But it'll be interesting to see if they bring in the whole Fantastic Four. I'm actually surprised they haven't done so, but I'm sure that debacle that they had several years ago when another studio tried to do a Fantastic Four film and just totally failed. I'm not talking about the ones that came out with um, Captain America playing Johnny Storm. Those were actually kind of fun. They were, they weren't the greatest in the world, but uh, they weren't horrible by any stretch of the imagination. But it would be interesting to see what a proper MCU version of the Fantastic Four could be. I would like to see that. Uh, as for the others, of course, the other Illuminati is kind of interesting to see them again, like Charles Xavier, and the others are one-offs. I don't think any of them need to be a regular, established hero in the MCU, but if they pop in every now and then for a cameo. That's fine. I did think that a lot of people had prejudged this film because of some of what they heard about America Chavez and what they might do with her character. None of that seemed to play out. There's no strange virtue signaling. I'm not going to say anything isn't going to come in the future, but as far as the film I saw, I noticed nothing that was any off-putting aspect of her character. Now, if you just don't like the character, that's fine. But they didn't do anything to make you not like the character. Like I said, it was kind of strange timing that she suddenly was able to control this power that she wasn't able to for the entire film. But other than that, she's pretty innocuous. She's there. She's a scared girl trying to not die. So I can't fault her for that. And there's really nothing else to find fault with her in that. The actress was fine. Like I said, I don't know what the future is going to bring. So we'll see what happens with that. Ultimately, though, it's an enjoyable film, but I really couldn't go any more than 3 stars. I don't know if I am comparing it to all the other Marvel films in existence where, sure, visually it's one of the better ones, but the story just doesn't really hold up to a lot of the other MCU films. But I have a feeling that the true fans out there are really going to enjoy it, and more power to them. I hope they enjoy the heck out of this film. Uh, I think it'll do well, and it'll be interesting to see just how well, because I know a lot of people have been waiting for it. It has been a rough few years for the cinema industry, and now that we have had another huge hit with the last Spider-Man film leading into this one, I think this one could do pretty well. There's no reason it shouldn't. Like I said, there's nothing off-putting about the film. It's just, it just lacks a little bit here and there. But I do hope you enjoyed this review. I enjoyed doing it for you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, Big Al Presents, I really hope you do so. More reviews, rewatches, and rambles in the weeks and months to come. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please go ahead and share it with anybody who likes the MCU or who's wondering if they want to go see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But whatever you are going to be watching tonight, be it Doctor Strange or not, I hope you love it and enjoy it. And until later, take care and goodbye.